I placed this class, Limousine Heifers, 3214. In this class, I opted for the added volume found in 3 and 2. In my top pair, I placed 3 over 2. 3 is the high volume, big boned, and wide pinned heifer in this class. I will admit that 2 does have a stronger top line, but she needs to be more flexible on her front legs, so she goes second. Hi, I'm Macy Merrick. What I just shared with you was a clip of reasons which I use when giving reasons in a livestock judging contest. Today, my presentation is about livestock judging. Now, what is livestock judging? Livestock judging is analyzing and measuring livestock to the ideal animal. The main species that are used in contests are cattle, swine, and sheep. Supplies and tips that you will need to know are, when judging, you will need a notebook and pen or pencil. Most people prefer notebooks that flip up over the top because they are easier to handle and get to your pages that you need. When giving reasons, use IDs. IDs are the color of the animal, anything that describes the animal that is different from the others, even ear tag colors or how they walk. Also try to remember the class as you talk and take a lot of notes. You want to try to remember the class as you give your reasons because they will dock you if you use your notebook. Leg structures. As you can see, these are some pictures of some cattle. Right here is the side profile of a calf. As you can see, it has curvature to its leg, which is correct. Like as this one, it's toe straight. As you can see, this one has curve and this one is just straight like this. That makes them walk like this and it's uncomfortable and they just don't go across the ring or the pasture correctly. Also, sickle-hocked is where their dew claw, which is this little point right there, touches the ground and can cause uncomfortable movement. Correct from the behind profile is you want them to, a lot of people call it true and square from the hock down. It means that they stand like this instead of like this or this. Bow-legged is where their legs go out and their hooves go in. Cow-hocked is when their hocks go in like this. And on their front legs, again, you want them true and square all the way through from the front legs to the back legs. And narrow is when they're like this instead of this. Knock-kneed is where their knees almost touch. Bow-legged, the same, is just like this, where their knees go out. And splay-footed is, or toed out, some people call it, or pigeon-toed is when their toes go in. Leg structures are important because especially on breeding pieces, you want them to be able to get across the pasture for cattle to get enough to eat. And pigs, it can be hard on their feet and farrowing crates so they can get stuck and you never want to drag one out of the farrowing house. Now I'm going to talk to you about market swine. I'm going to describe this pig right here to you. As you can see, this pig has a nice top line. It's straight from here to here, and this is a ham-loin junction. Their loin is here and their ham is here, and that doesn't have any ridges or bumps. He also has good muscle shape. The two places that you want to look for muscle is their top line. They'll have a ditch kind of down their back or a little groove, and their ham and forearm. Like I was talking about the top shape, as you can see right here, there's a little crease in its back, or a little ditch. That means that they have the accurate amount of top shape. Also, they kind of look like a time glass, where it's big up here, short in the middle, and again, muscle in the back. Now, I was talking about being true and square and wide. This one is very true and square from the hot ground, and he has good width, floor width. Breeding gilts. Now on breeding gilts, you want high capacity so that they don't have any farrowing problems. High capacity is so that the piglet, they don't have any pigging problems. Pigs don't get stuck. Like a lot of gilts, first-time gilts will have problems with this because they don't have as big as high capacity or as room as second-time sows will. Underlines are also very important when judging. A lot of times at judging contests, they'll say judge underlines as sound, which means that you won't dock them in your placing for bad underlines, but you can still talk about them if you're giving reasons on that class. Now, you want refined teeth so that they're not coarse and hard for the piglet to get their mouth around them. And you want them evenly spaced. Pin nipples would be where there are 2 nipples right here, and then there would be a little one right there, and it would just get in the way. Pasterns, like I was talking about, it's how they get into the farrowing crates. They have to walk. And this one, it goes nice and smooth down, and it's strong pastern. This one is very weak on its pasterns because its dew claw almost touches the ground, and that can make them walk weird and be uncomfortable. Now, for IDs, you can also talk about the tail root. Tail roots are where their tail meets their back right here. Tail roots, if they're big and thick, that means that the pig's body line will mostly follow that, so they'll be wide, muscular, and just good, probably market or breeding pieces. If they're skinny, that means that they're narrow, frail, and just not as well finished. Some undesirable things about hogs right here. This one I would say is shallow-bodied. He's frail, and a lot of times this is a York, and he just doesn't have a great ham-loin junction. As you can see, it kind of bumps up right there, and you don't want that. This one is straight on its back legs. See how these back legs just go straight down? They have no flex or curve to them. Now this one's just over-conditioned and very, very frail boned. Its bone's about that big. Now hawks again. This one, as you can see, it has a kind of a ball right here. That means that it has fluid in its hawk. It's unattractive and just not as comfortable for the pig. This one is kind of, again, straight off of its hawk, just like right up here on this one. Market steers. I really like this steer. As you can see, its bone, it has massive bone, a really strong level top. Its tail head lies neatly into its top line, and it is really neat neck, which means that it doesn't have a lot of wasty brisket or neck right there. It also has the right amount of finish. Now this one is another nice steer, but as I was talking about, this one just isn't neat through its neck as much as that one, but he's still pretty nice balancing steer right there. This guy is a really long-bodied steer. As you can see, this one's shorter, but he still has that nice smooth lane and tail head and a big bone. Breeding heifers. Now breeding heifers line up just like with pigs. You want them high capacity, but you again still want all those structural and balancing to balance up well. Again, just neat, and they have to be more attractive than the steers, so you want the steers to have a big muscular shoulder. Now heifers, you don't really want, you want them to have a smooth shoulder so that it doesn't stick out. So I could say that this one right here has a smooth shoulder that runs neatly into its forerib. Undesirable. This one, as you can see, I was talking about tail heads. Tail head is right here on a calf. This one has a little bump right there. Again, he's frail boned and shallow bodied. Now this is a really nice calf that is parallel in his lines, which means that he's parallel from here to here. He's not shallow in his flank or shallow bodied. But the one thing that I don't like about him, he could be neater through his neck, and he's a little straight off of his back, but his tail head is really high up there. This is another breeding heifer. She just doesn't balance as well. She's a little shallow bodied. Market lambs. Now, I really like this market lamb because he's huge boned. He's got the right amount of muscle and curve. He's also very level topped or docked or hipped, as you could say. He's not U-necked. U-necked is when their neck comes out like about right there. This guy's neck is perfect and it lines up straight with his front legs. When looking at the top of a lamb, you kind of want that hourglass shape again, but you look for muscle here and muscle here. Now on market lambs, you really want to muscle them out because one that has made a lot of muscle will beat ones that don't at all or have a little bit. Rack is right here. It's just their rib shape, and you want a big racked lamb. Again, true and square from behind. When looking also from behind, you want them to have good shape in their leg. The leg is about right there, and you want to have that nice curve right there so that they're big-legged. When looking at the front, this is a very shallow-chested lamb, which is good. You don't want them deep-chested because that means that they are waisty-breasted, which means that it comes down. Breeding ewes. Again, the same as the other breeding animals that we have talked about already. You still want high-capacity, level-hipped. This is a really level-hipped and level-docked one. And again, her neck lines up straight with her front legs. In the top corner, we have another one that is similar to our one right here. She's just has a little bit of a leveler dock. Undesirable sheep. This one, as you can see, does not have a level dock at all. It goes like this and up. And it's also frail-boned and very straight on its hocks. This one, when talking sheep, you want them to have a long neck. And this one has a very stubby neck. Other than that, she's a very long-bodied ewe and level-docked. But I just like to change that about her. My resources that I used was www.google.com, www.njsa.com, and Tim Merrick, who is my dad and also judges livestock. Now today I have talked to you about livestock judging, and if you are interested in getting involved in livestock judging, you can talk to me after this presentation or talk to your local extension office and they can get you hooked up with somebody. Are there any questions? Yes? The question was, do I feel like there's an animal that I'm more experienced in? I show more pigs, but when it comes to judging, I feel like it depends on the day for me. I mean, one day I'll be good at sheep, but the next day I won't like sheep at all. So really, it just depends on the day for me. Are there any other questions? Yes? She asked, the question was, what does overconditioned mean? Overconditioned can follow into any species. It can follow into sheep, pigs, and cattle. It just means that for market animals, you want more muscle than you do fat. And overconditioned means that they just have way too much fat on them. Any more questions? If not, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.